I breathe in, I know I'm breathing in. As I breathe out, I know I am breathing out. In, out. J'inspire, je sais que j'inspire. J'expire, je sais que j'expire. J'inspire, j'expire. As I breathe in, I'm aware of my whole body. As I breathe out, I relax my whole body. Aware of body, relaxing body. J'inspire, je suis conscient, consciente de tout mon corps. J'expire, je détends tout mon corps. Conscient du corps, détendre le corps. As I breathe in, I have arrived. As I breathe out, I've stopped running with my body and my mind. I have arrived. Stopped running. J'inspire. Je suis arrivé. J'expire. J'arrête de courir avec mon corps et mon esprit. Arrivé. J'arrête de courir. As I breathe in, I am home. As I breathe out, I feel very comfortable. I am home, very comfortable. J'inspire, je suis chez moi. J'expire, je me sens très bien. Chez moi, me sentir très bien. Breathing in, I take refuge in my own island. Breathing out, I go back to myself. My own island, going back to myself. J'inspire, je prends refuge dans mon île intérieure. J'expire, je reviens en moi-même. Mon île intérieure, revenir en moi-même.
Contemplations before chanting. The Sangha is invited to come back to our breathing so that our collective energy of mindfulness will bring us together as an organism, going as a river, with no more separation. Let the whole Sangha breathe as one body, chant as one body, listen as one body, and transcend the boundaries of a delusive self, liberating from the superiority complex, the inferiority complex, and the equality complex.
With hearts established in mindfulness, we are truly present for sitting and walking meditation, and for reciting the sutras. May this practice center with its fourfold Sangha be supported by the three jewels and holy beings, well protected from the eight misfortunes and the three paths of suffering. May parents, teachers, friends, and all beings within the filled with the most divine grace. And may it be found that in the world there is no place at war. May the winds be favorable, the rain seasonable, and the people's hearts at peace. May the practice of the noble community, diligent and steady, ascend the 10 bodhisattva stages with ease and energy. May the Sangha body live peacefully, fresh and full of joy, a refuge for all, offering happiness and insight. The wisdom of the awakened mind shines out like the full moon. The body of the awakened one is pure and clear as crystal. In the world the awakened one relieves bitterness and suffering. In every place the awakened mind reveals love and compassion.
Sangha, please enjoy practicing with me. Breathing in. Thai is breathing in with me. Breathing out. Thai is breathing out with me. Breathing in, I breathe for Thai. Breathing out, I smile for Thai. Breathe in for Thai. Smiling for Thai. Breathing in, Thai in me is breathing in. Breathing out, Thai in me is breathing out. Thai in me breathing in. Thai in me breathing out. Dear respected Thai, dear noble Sangha, today is the 10th of October and we are in the full moon meditation hall of New Hamlet, and we are in the 31st day of 90 days of rains retreat, and we have less than 60 days left. Today is one day before our Teacher Thai 95th continuation day. So normally in the day of continuation day of our beloved ones, we would like to offer gift. We would like to make that person happy, and I would like to invite all of us, the Sangha worldwide, in this hall and also online, to do the gift that I know they like very much. One of the gifts that they always like to receive from us, that is our practice of mindfulness. And our brothers and sisters in Plum Village website, they already suggested the exercise of deep listening. As the whole Sangha, as a community, we practice deep listening. Deep listening to ourselves, deep listening to our beloved ones, and to Mother Earth. And with the practice of breathing, we can be at home, we can be with ourselves and listen to ourselves to know what is going on in our body and mind. And by just be there for ourselves, be at home, we feel at ease. With the practice of breathing individually and collectively, we can together prepare this gift for Thầy. Not only today and tomorrow, but also in the next time. If any of us haven't started this exercise, you are welcome to do so. And we are all invited to start from today, if we have done so before. Yeah, and please be aware that there are more than 1,000 people are doing this with us, and we feel supported. Yeah, and dear Sangha, today the sutra that we are going to share with each other is the sutra Discourse on taking refuge in oneself. It was a time the Buddha 80 years old, and it was taught some months before the Buddha entered Nirvana. And our teacher translated from the sutra Samyukta Agama number 39. So I'm going to read the sutra for us to listen. Discourse on taking refuge in oneself. I heard these words of the Buddha one time when the Lord was staying in the mango grove in the cool shade of the mango trees along the bank of the river Bhadra in the land of Magadha. The elders Shariputra and Moggallana had recently passed away. It was a full moon day of the Uposatha ceremony, and the precepts were recited. It was in the 3 months rains retreat like us now, and that the Buddha practiced the 3 months rain retreat in Vesali, and he asked the monks also to do the 3 months rain retreat around that area where they can find support from the lay people in terms of food, medicines, and clothes, so that they can have time and to deepen their practice and offer to people. And also in this rain retreat, the Buddha was attacked by a very severe sickness with very sharp and deep pains in his body, as if he was about to die. But the Buddha practiced hold on to the breathing and was able to recover. And when the rain retreat ended, he asked the Venerable Ananda, was his attendant, to go around the area to invite all the monks to gather, because he would like to give them Dharma Talk, to give them teachings before he went to Kapilavatthu, to the north, to his homeland. And because he knows that in a short time he will also pass away, so in that time he give quite many short Dharma talks to encourage the monks, to encourage all of his disciples to practice precepts, concentration and insight, to practice the four establishment of mindfulness, to practice coming back to themselves and take refuge in themselves. Yeah. And the Buddha taught his disciple, if we can able to come back to ourselves, to go home to ourselves, to take care of ourselves and to take refuge in ourselves, then we can encounter the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha in our very body and mind. And by practicing like that, we can cultivate peace and solidity inside and transform afflictions. Because we all know that when our teacher are no longer there, we may feel very lonely and suffer. We may feel lost. So the Buddha gave this sutra and also many other sutras in this intention. So I'm going to read the sutra. The Buddha spread out his sitting mat and sat facing the community. After looking out at those gathered, he said, "As I look at our community, I see a large space left by the Venerable Shariputra and Moggallana who have passed into Nirvana. In our Sangha, these venerables were the monks who were the most eloquent in giving Dharma talks, encouraging and instructing all other monks, nuns, and lay people. O monks, people seek two kinds of riches, material riches and the riches of the Dharma. In their search for material riches, they can go to worldly people. In their search for the riches of the Dharma, they could always go to the Venerables Shariputra and Moggallana. The Tathagata is someone who is not searching for anything, whether it is material or the Dharma. O monks, do not be sad or anxious because Shariputra and Moggallana have passed into Nirvana. On large trees filled with leaves, sumptuous fruits and flowers, the largest branches also have to break. On jeweled mountains, the highest peak also have to erode. In the Sangha of the Tathagata, the Venerables Shariputra and Moggallana were the greatest students, so it is natural that these Venerables would enter Nirvana before you. Do not give rise to feelings of sorrow or anguish. When the Venerable Ananda heard the news that the Venerable Shariputra and Moggallana passes away, brought by the Shariputra attendant, the novice Kunda, the Venerable Ananda was very shocked. He felt very unstable and suffered. And he came to the Buddha and let the Buddha know the news that Shariputra passes away. And the Buddha asked the Venerable Ananda, when Shariputra passes away, does your brother take away your solidity so that you feel so unstable like this? Yeah. And after that, the Buddha knew people might feel like the same as Venerable Ananda felt. So he was very compassionate to give teachings for the monks and instructed them how to practice, how to take refuge in themselves, how to find the support for their practice in their own body and mind, and also how to be as their own teachers. So reading this sutra, I feel very moved because I see that the relationship between teachers and students and disciples is something very important for all of us. It's something that can build our whole being, to have us to grow in the spiritual path. All phenomena that are born, exist, and are object to influence of other phenomena. In other words, all phenomena that are composite must abide by the law of impermanence and eventually cease to exist. They cannot exist eternally without someday being destroyed. I have reminded you many times that everything we cherish and hold dear today, we will have to let go of and be separated from. In not too long a time, I will also pass away. The Buddha taught the monks and nuns, and I think lay people too, to recite and contemplate impermanence every day. To recite, I am of the nature to grow old. I cannot escape growing old. This is the first of the 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to have ill health. I cannot escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. For this, I think it's a little bit difficult for the young people to imagine that one day you will die. Or for many of us that we're still very strong and have good health. It's difficult to imagine that one day we cannot walk or we cannot lift up the spoon to bring food into our mouth, something like that. Yeah, but it does happen. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. The Buddha wants his disciple to really recite and contemplate and put this teaching into practice every day. Before going to bed and when waking up in the morning. It's not to suppress ourselves that life is suffering, but to remind ourselves to treasure, to appreciate each moment in our life. That to know that this relationship is very beautiful and precious. Sometimes we stay with each other in families or in monasteries, and we take the presence of our brothers and sisters, our friends, take it for granted. We see her presence, it's normal. And sometimes sometimes her presence or his presence even make us irritated. Sometimes we don't want to see that person at the face. Yeah, it does happen for all of us. I inherit the result of my actions, of body, speech, and mind. My actions are my only continuation. So how we continue in the future? This is a very big question for all of us. How can we continue in the future? And many of us want to continue our teacher, to continue the legacy, the very precious legacy that our teacher have built in his whole life. How can we continue him? Before coming to this hall, I met Sister Bảo Nghiêm, one of our elder sister, on the way, and I prayed to her. And she told me, do your best. Talk for Thầy, okay? So I say, yes, go, I will do my best. And this is also my practice. Giving Dharma talk for our teacher Thầy, because yes, you know, sitting here is quite nervous. But I know very sure that Thầy must be very happy when he see that we grown up in some way. We grown up in our practice, in our spiritual life. We can be able to take care of ourselves and help others to take care of themselves. I remember in the year 2014, when Thầy first had stroke. When we was informed by the elder brothers and sisters that okay, now you can go to the hospital to visit Thầy, and maybe we just have some hours left. Yes, and I practiced very weak at that time. I cry a lot on the way to hospital. even I practice holding on my breathing very close, but still, yeah. And when we came to the hospital, our elder sister told us that do not cry, okay? When you come to the room, no one of you are allowed to cry. So we really, I don't know how to do it, how to manage it, but because many of us were still crying. And we came to see Thầy, and at that time he was in the coma. And somehow, I don't know why, but just stepping into his room in the hospital, I was very alert and clear in my mind, and suddenly no more crying. And I stand there with my sisters, and Sister Thuần Khánh, Sister Đình Nghiêm asked us, do not stand there and keep silent. Say something. Tell Thầy stories, joyful, beautiful stories, and sing song. Oh. So I started to. Well, my sister we all kept silent, but I don't know why I step out and tell Thầy many stories. I told Thầy, do you know Sister Thuần Khánh, she's now in Huế, and she grown up a lot now. She's an elder sister, and she's taking very good care of her younger sister, you know. And I keep continuing to tell Thai's story because I know that the very beautiful and nourishing story like that of our brother and sister nourished Thai a lot. And we started to sing the song, and you know, at that moment, but we were standing there and sang, "Happiness is here now." When talking about this after that, we all feel we was very silly. But then somehow it is just like in here that we just would like to sing something and say something. And also with the practice of breathing, Thầy was be able to recover. And Thầy breathed even better than us at that time. And it is amazing for all of us to have His presence until now. Every day when waking up and sitting on my bed, I feel very grateful for Thầy. And I know that Thầy is still here with us. Every time when I join my palm to contemplate before meals, I also breathe for Him. And I know that many of us are doing so. Of course, Thầy doesn't want us to cry in any time. Especially when we are close to Him, we want He wants to see us joyful and happy. I think that is what they want to continue, what they want us to continue Him. To be happy and to be able to find happiness in ourselves, so that we can carry Him into the future. So impermanence and the awareness of life in us and around us, the awareness of the presence of our beloved ones, the awareness of our actions of body, speech and mind. It is something that we recite, remind ourselves and practice every day. So I'm going to read the sutra. In not too long a time, I will also pass away. Therefore, I urge you to practice being an island unto yourself, knowing how to take refuge in yourself, and not taking refuge in anyone or anything else. Practice taking refuge in the island of the Dharma. Know how to take refuge in the Dharma, and do not take refuge in any other island or person. The Buddha used the word island of oneself and island of the Dharma. And this phrase was repeated in many sutras. In the Sutra Samyukta Agama number 36, the Buddha used the word trụ ư từ châu. It means dwelling in the island of oneself. In order to take refuge in the island of oneself, that is the E, taking refuge in oneself. Dwelling in the island of the Dharma, taking refuge in the island of the Dharma, not in any other island or not in the other island and not in other thing. So the words từ châu is an island within oneself. And the Buddha used the words the words Từ Châu, the island of oneself, translated from Atta Dipa, and it is the Pali's word as meanings of island or a lamp or a torch. And also in the sutras, Samyutta Agama number 638. The Buddha also encouraged the monks. He teaching about the island of oneself, and he used the words Tướng tạc từ châu nhi từ y. Đứng tạc Pháp châu nhi Pháp y. Đứng tạc bất gì châu bất gì y. We should build an island in ourselves in order to take refuge in ourselves. We should build the Dharma in ourselves, the island of the Dharma in ourselves, in order to take refuge in the Dharma. So the words and the sentence are different from this sutra, but the content is very much the same. Also in here we can also see the image of Từ Châu and Pháp Châu. The island in ourselves, the island of the Dharma. In these sutras, Samyutta Nikaya, 3 sutra from this chapter, the Buddha also talk about the island in oneself, and it's also translated as an island. But in the sutra of Digha Agama number 2, the image, the word Dipa was translated as a lamp or a torch. And in Vietnamese, in the Nikaya, the Venerable Minh Châu and the Venerable Tuệ Sĩ, they all translated as a lamp or a torch. So we normally hear that light up the torch in ourselves to walk on, and it is come from all of this sutra. On the Dharma Talk last Thursday, monastic Dharma Talk, Thầy taught us many times that light up your own torch to walk on. Hãy tự mình thắp đuốc lên mà đi. Stand up, light your own torch. Yeah. And we also see this phrase in Buddhist institutes, Buddhist schools, many times. I think many ways that they made them very big, like the reminders for everyone. And in Buddhist literature, the image of a lamp or a torch happened many times, and it's also happened. I also see in the transmission gatha of our teacher. In the year of 1966, before going abroad to call for peace, our teacher Thầy went to the Root Temple and visit his teacher and saying goodbye. Yeah. And Thầy didn't know that that was the last time he met his teacher, because his teacher passes away when he was still abroad. And in the transmission gatha that our grandfather teacher gave to him, there's also the image of a lamp. Nhất hưởng phùng xuân, đắc kiền hành, hành đương vô niệm diệt vô tranh, tâm đăng nhược chịu kỳ nguyên thể. Diệu pháp đông tây khả tự thành. If the lamp of our heart, our mind, shine on its own nature, then the wonderful Dharma can be realized, khả tự thành, can be realized either it is in the West or in the East. Tâm đăng nhược chịu kỳ nguyên thể. If we can be able to light up the torch in ourselves, the torch of our heart or the lamp of our heart is the light of mindfulness. It is the energy of mindfulness. And if we are able to light it up, if we are able to keep it on, it's not light it up and then turn it off, huh? Light it up is difficult, but keep it on is even more difficult. Then we can able to not only realize the peace and the happiness for ourselves, but also we can help others. Diệu pháp đông tây khả tự thành, the wonderful Dharma, the transmission of the wonderful Dharma, even if it is in the West or in the East, can be realized. So in the sutras, after giving the formula of the island of oneself and the island of the Dharma, the Buddha always continue to encourage the monks to go back to themselves and practice the four establishment of mindfulness, to contemplate the body in the body, the feeling in the feeling, the mental formation, the mind in the mind, and the object of mind in the object of mind. This morning in Lower Hamlet, we was listening to this sutra, the four establishment of mindfulness. And maybe we may like to read this sutra later. And the Buddha, the Venerable Ananda asked the Buddha in the sutras of Digha Nikaya. The Venerable Ananda asked the sutra, what does it mean? What does taking refuge in the island of oneself mean? And how can we apply it into the practice? I'm sorry, that is in the Sutra Samyutta Agama, number 638. And the Buddha's answer is very much the same. So I'm going to read. Therefore, I urge you to practice being an island unto yourself, knowing how to take refuge in yourself and not taking refuge in anyone or anything else. Practice taking refuge in the island of the Dharma. Know how to take refuge in the Dharma and do not take refuge in any other island or person. This means to practice dwelling in the contemplation of the body in the body, using the exercises diligently to nourish right understanding and right mindfulness, to master and transform craving and anxiety that belong to the world. Contemplate the body outside the body, using the exercises diligently to nourish right understanding and right mindfulness, to master and transform craving and anxiety that belong to the world. That is what is meant by returning to the island of oneself in order to take refuge in the island of oneself. Returning to the island of the right Dharma in order to take refuge in the island of the right Dharma, and not taking refuge in any other island or any other thing. When the bhikshus heard the Buddha offer this teaching, they were all very happy and put it into practice. In Plum Village, all of our activity and schedule and Dharma doors that we are practicing based on these sutras, the sutras of the four establishment of mindfulness, of the sutras of the full awareness of breathing, which is like an enhancement of this sutra, and the sutras of knowing the better way to live alone. Yeah, this is Thầy use this sutra as the foundation of his teachings. Yeah. And the question is, if we find difficult to maintain the energy of mindfulness, Maybe when we do sitting meditation with the Sangha, that's much easier. Even we fall to sleep sometimes, but we feel at ease. We feel somehow peaceful. But then, for example, for our friend, when you are alone at home, or when you stay here and come back home someday, it's difficult for you to continue this practice. So then, we need to first, the Buddha taught us using the exercises diligently. Means that we should do it sometimes in order for it to become a habit. Like we form a new habit, a habit of sitting still. So maybe all of us will have this experience when we get very tired, mentally or physically. We just find a place to sit down. Even we don't do anything, but it's just sitting down, keep the back upright, relax, and breathe. And just within one time of breathing, we already feel relief. We already feel much better. And if we give ourselves that space and time every day, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or we are very lucky, we do it with the Sangha. If we are tired and we come to the hall and do sitting meditation, we will feel better. We will feel like somehow the energy is go from our brothers and sisters penetrate into us, and we can generate, like based on that energy, we generate the energy of mindfulness inside. And day by day it becomes a habit. Then even we stand somewhere in the garden or in the market, we can be able to come back to ourselves, to remember to breathe. In Lower Hamlet, I have a group of mentor mentee. And every week we meet each other and share our practice. And last night, there one of my younger sister, my mentee, she shared that when she practices sitting meditation and she feels very happy and peaceful, somehow she feels the Dharma is delicious. Yes, we can feel like that sometimes. The Dharma is delicious. And the presence of our brothers and sisters around us is also delicious. This time I really want you to open your eyes and look around the hall and smile with each other. There are some of my younger sisters a little bit shy, but so please look at them and smile. And when we are smiling like this, yes, we know that Thầy is smiling. Thầy is smiling within each one of us and around us. And it is the meaning of our practice, that we continue Thầy in ourselves and in others. We train ourselves, or we allow ourselves to get the training so that to be our teacher, to be our own teacher. Because if when you come here as a practitioner, as lay practitioner, or you are younger brothers and sisters, you have guidance, you have mentor, you have shining light. But when the more you stay in the Sangha, the older you are, right? And the less guidance you receive. So I see it very clearly. until now I receive maybe not guidance, like very rare reminders from my elder sisters, because they think I'm grown up and I can take care of myself, and they don't remind me anymore. So don't wait until you get old. Don't wait until you be an elder sister or brother to think about this, because at that time, for sure we need to know how to take care of ourselves, how to be our own teacher, how to understand very well where we are on the path, which exercises you have to practice. So, appreciate the presence of others and appreciate the exercise, the teaching that we are still receiving from others, and put it into practice, because we all would like to be happy. We all would like to transform. Taking refuge in ourselves, in our own island, then is there anything, is there the situation that because we just want to go back all the time and we ignore others, does it happen to any of us that because we want to focus on our own happiness and suffering, then we ignore others? We ignore the suffering of others. We ignore the suffering of the world. Does it happen to us? What does the Buddha mean when he gave this teaching for us to really go back, take refuge in the island of ourselves? And how about others? How about the suffering of the world? Maybe this is the question for all of us to contemplate. I remember in the manifestation only teaching, the 50 verses, there were sentences. Chánh niệm được thắp lên, chuyển hóa mọi tâm hành. When the mindfulness is light up in ourselves, all mental formation will be transformed. So the key word there is also mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness. When we are able to turn on the energy of mindfulness in ourselves and keep it on, then it will take care of itself. The mindfulness will do her job to help us to re-establish the home, our home inside, so that it can become the true home. Let light up the light of mindfulness, just like the light of the sun. When it's on, then all the vegetables, the flowers get absorbed from the warmth of the sunshine. And the trees and the plants and the flowers do their own process to grow or to bloom. And we do not interfere into that process. It just happens the same in our body and mind. Our job is just finding many ways to keep the practice of mindfulness strong and on in us. And whenever we get tired or a bit lazy, it's okay. And for me, I allow myself to be lazy sometimes, and I accept myself when I am down in the practice. I accept myself as I am, but I know that this acceptance offers me space. And whenever I am myself, I have the faith in my body and mind that I will know how to restart. I will know where I will restart. And I always restart all over again. All of the whatever happening is okay. Be with myself, accept myself. And if I am sad with that, it's okay too. But I know that in here, there is the faith that it can be able to restart when it is the right time. So this sutra we received from the Buddha. But I see it's related very much to the situation that we are now in the Sangha with the presence of our teacher Thầy. Yesterday, Sister Lang Nghiêm made a phone call to Vietnam, to the Root Temple, to Thay's attendant, for our young Bhikshuni in Lower Hamlet can say hello to Thay. So I am not a young Bhikshuni, but I'm a Bhikshuni. So I also went to, and I told myself, it's okay, I will stand behind the young Bhikshuni, no one will see me. Because I want to see Thay. Yeah. And we had a very joyful, nourishing time with him. And our younger sister saying hello to him and tell him some nourishing stories and greetings. And after that, I felt I'm so happy the whole day after that until now. I see somehow Thay's presence touch the peace and happiness in me very deeply. I don't know why. But when I see Thay, I felt like my whole being is so open and so light and joyful. Even I didn't keep very calm. I say, I smiled so wholehearted and was so joyful. And I think it's like that for all of us, huh? When we embody the peace and happiness, then even we don't do anything, then the other person can benefit a lot from that. Thầy didn't speak a word with us, but we are so happy. And I see Thầy embody peace and happiness. And would we like to continue, Thầy? I really want to. Please I know all of us really want to, so do it together. But when we get to the situation of despair, of suffering and sorrow, do we remember to breathe? Do we remember to remind ourselves? So just like I share that the very important and significant thing is to creating new habit. Whatever we do more than 3 times, it may become a habit. Yeah. So all of us here already have a habit of sitting still, coming back to the breathing. So please, there is a homework that in our mentor-mentee group we practice together. That is, choose at least one activity during the day to stop and breathe. Yes, we can continue to work, but stop inside and breathe. To remember to breathe. So I also would like to invite you to do with us. Either that you walking or cooking, washing dishes, or gardening, that take a pause and breathe. Close your eyes and breathe. Just take 20 seconds, 30 seconds of breathing in and out, and the situation much better. In the year 1975, I read this story, and I would like to read this for you. In the year 1975, Thầy was in the Sweet Potato Hermitage outside of Paris. And at that time, Thầy saw that his students was carried away by the sorrow and the sadness because of the situation of Vietnam. And for many days, and Thầy gave this teaching for them at that time. Sư Cô Trân Không was there at that time. So I would like to read this for all of us to listen. It's just like the sutra that we receive from our teacher. You have to save yourself. No matter how solid I am, I cannot swim for you. You have to hold on to your breathing. Keep your mind calm in the present moment and learn to look deeply to see the value, the miracles of the moment in each of your daily tasks, like washing dishes, cleaning, gardening. Do not leave the present moment. Do not let yourself become a victim of a situation. Do you hear me? That Thầy asks us, do you hear me? So just like when we were smiling to each other, I know that this time Thầy is smiling in me and Thầy is smiling in the Sangha. Thank you so much for your listening and your presence. So to end this sharing, I invite the whole Sangha to sing the song together, the song Being an Island. So if you know this song, please sing along. I hope the friends online, you can also see the screen and sing along with us. Be an island unto myself, as an island unto myself. Buddha is my mindfulness, shining near, shining far. Dharma is my breathing, gardening body and mind. I am free, being an island unto myself. As an island unto myself, Sangha is my 5 skandhas, working in harmony, taking refuge in myself, coming back to myself. I am free, I am free, I am free. Maybe we can sing one more time with the screen, words on the wall. Okay. Being an island